Good morning. I'm sending a message about those who are working through money blocks. Um, I've come to the time in my journey where I'm able to reflect and see just how things happened when I was processing energetic money wounds. And I was just sitting here this morning thinking, when I went into my private practice, I was kind of pushed out of the system on purpose. And I realize now why I had to be out of the system, because none of the growth that I have had over these last few years would have been possible within it. Now I know everybody's journey is different, and not all of us can get out of the system to do private practice or start a business right away, but this did teach me a lot because I kind of got forced into it, which was kind of my financial blueprint of what I do in this world. Is I had a lot to learn and heal in money, because a lot of my purpose involves financial kind of healing for people and for myself, and learning how to have money for this new earth. So when I was reflecting back, I realized my dog's scratching at the door, my neighbors making noise. I'm like, this must be an important message. This is when I get suspicious. But I realized, and I'm watching and thinking back, how when I got constricted in my energy, the money flow stopped. And this was the proof of my own infinite supply, and I didn't even realize I was working by infinite supply. And it's really going to be hard for other people to understand. But if you're on the awakening and spiritual journey, this will make sense. So whenever I've come to the point 3 or 4 years later where I'm in complete flow, I don't worry about money. I've been guided to money. Money comes to me, and I wasn't seeing those things up until these last few months. And now I'm thinking, when I released the constriction on lack, I was guided to money, or money found me. So consider that on your journey, that we're talking about how important our biofields, our auras are. Every time you get fearful about money, you are pushing money away from you. So we should all be able to live in the belief of infinite supply. And that's a wild concept, I know. It was wild for me in the beginning first. But that's the whole point of going through this process, is the learning part of it. So don't get hard on yourself for making the mistake, but just acknowledge that the constriction and the restrictions coming in there, and reset your nervous system. Remind yourself, affirm for yourself that you are capable of receiving infinite supply, and that the way will be shown, and that you don't have to worry about it as much. This is what we're trying to deprogram or reprogram, is these fear-based programs that we've been living on for a long time. So just know, I've just seen a white butterfly and a dragonfly as I'm taping this. So those are really good affirmations for me. But remember that, and think about that in your journey. If you're struggling with this financial part, because this is a big one for a lot of people. We have been financially burdened and financially controlled for a long time. And if you are listening to your guidance and your intuition and healing your nervous system, we all know now, the science is getting louder and louder, that our biofield matters, our aura matters, and what you put out into your biofield is what you energetically attract back. So if you're putting out a lot of lack, a lot of there's not enough, a lot of that kind of perspective, that is more of what you're going to receive. So it's really challenging. This is one of the hardest ones I think I ever had to deal with, is to rewrite that programming that there's always enough. it's a wild concept, but just like everything in spirituality, in this journey, and this won't make sense to everybody right away, but I still think back of some of the things that I was still learning in the beginning about this journey, and I thought, whoa, that is really out there. I don't know if I can get on board with that. And I've literally retrained my brain to think, wow, this is pretty cool, and then transitioned into, wow, this is quite normal, and it's normal in my everyday life. And that's kind of what I've been reflecting back and forth on through this process. So we do need to reprogram. This is deep nervous system work, but I'm here to support you on that journey. You can follow along, and I'm going to go into more, and I do go into a lot of these shadow work kind of aspects of life, but I will go in. This is what I'm here for, to bridge consciousness with psychology and science so that we can reprogram these mistruths and potential problems like that we were once taught to fear, and we can get into this new earth that we are ready to build and are building and have been building for a long time. And it was a fascinating turn of events a couple days ago, and I didn't even realize it could happen. But we don't want to ever play small. I was forced into a huge throat chakra activation a couple days ago because my guides, when I say they, were very frustrated about how I was still playing small and still pulling back on my energy when, I shouldn't have been. And they just said, okay, now is the time. And they just had me saying so much freaking truth, of my personal truth. I was like, whoa, where did that come from? But it was actually so liberating at the same time, because when I speak my truth in a healed space, that is the healthiest way. That's the part where we all want to get to. And then if other people are speaking their truth, there is really no room for muddled misinterpretations in communication. And that kind of eliminates triggers in conversations. So consider that when you're on this journey, that when you start to speak your truth and you've done the investigative work on whether there's a shadow based in your thought process, then you need to consider that if another person has an issue with your truth or your authenticity, that is shadow work they need to do. It's not your responsibility. So I hope this helps somebody. If it did, I'd really love to know, because that will help the algorithm to get these messages out to more people. And I would just appreciate it and be so very grateful for that in terms of our new earth building. I love you all.